Hey guys, I'm live. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right. That's better. Turn my phone to silent. Hey, Cheshire. You're the first. I'm still monkeying around with getting everything set. Ooh. Hang tight. I will be here in just a minute. I'll hook that to a brush. Okay. Hey, Lena. Yeah, that was a good stream today. Whew. Another marathon, I feel like. Well, look who didn't clean off their palette knife yesterday. Excuse me. Slurping my Slim Fast. I'm going to wait just a minute or two. Yeah, I tried to watch Lena's stream and catch up with politics and let's see what else. Oh, I was listening to a webinar at the same time. So I didn't really do a good job with any of it. Fall on the floor. Fall on the floor. This is, well, I'll just teach to you, Cheshire. This is the welder's thing I showed you yesterday. The oil has been out of the freezer for about 10 minutes. So it just fits in like that. There's a divider that I really ought to have in here that I don't, so I'm going to put it in right now. This is the divider that further protects. Where do you go? I thought there were grooves for it, but they're not. Yeah, they're just down in there a little bit. I got it. That's what it looks like without the thing in it. And then just put the lid back on it and find a place to put it. Better plug in the laptop. Cords to the left of me. Cameras to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle again. Okay. We are plugged in. Hey, CB. Glad you could join us today. Got my lipstick, just in case any of you wonder if I'm totally ready. I suspect that this is why more people don't demo oil painting other than to show a sped up version of what they've done, because there is so much back and forth. And I think I don't remember who I was telling. Scraping off and redrawing are elements of oil painting that a lot of people aren't aware of. William Bouguereau, Bouguereau, I believe. William Bouguereau. No, not him. Never mind. John Singer Sargent, big difference there by a couple of 100 years. Um, John Singer Sargent was a master of painting, and he painted live portraits with a model for years and hated every minute of it because the clients that pay for something like that think that they're artists too, and they want to continue to see who else is coming in. They want to give you painting advice that really irritated John Singer Sargent. But story goes, he would have a palette knife, and if he painted this hand over here, he would just scrape the thing off, until he got it right. It looked like a perfect hand to everybody else. A little light there. There was once one of his paintings. It was of a lady. It was a full-length portrait, and she had on a 1890s, 1920s dress with big folds in the fabric. And it is said that he scraped off one of those folds 20 times before he got it where he liked it. So scraping off and repainting is what artists do with oil. And that gets a little bit boring the way I'm trying to do it with you guys today. So bear that in mind. What happened to me yesterday, among other things, turn this over. Take this off. Okay, come on. As I told you, I always work with my image over on the right on an external monitor that is hooked up to my iMac right here to my right. Well, the iMac crashed and burned, and it's in the shop right now. So I was without the tool that I'm most used to see things. So I was also attempting to satisfy those who want to see the palette. That's very important for a lot of people. And the others who want to see the source photo. Now, in doing that, I end up making some people really angry because they want to see the whole thing. Well, there's no way you can see the whole thing. And to see it almost the way I'm seeing it, the camera's just a little bit to my left and on my eye level. So you're seeing exactly what I see. Turn that down just a hair. And I can't please everybody, so I'm trying to strike a medium here without my tools. So what I did yesterday was right before we came on stream, I thought I had panels that were 16 by 20, which was the way I planned the painting to fit that panel. I couldn't find one easily, and 16 by 20 is pretty good. So, a real head is about this high. So this is just about an inch less than normal size, which is fine. It works. So anyway, I finally thought, okay, I'll print a copy that I can use like I use my monitor. So I did. And I came back in here and started repainting it. And I lined this up and I started figuring it out. Problem was, this was the old size, not the 12 by 16 size. So no wonder I was off. So I began, my drawing was closer to that. I began redrawing it to match the bigger size. Well, of course, that's going to be all off. So that's why I was confused. Doesn't take much. But here's the difference. Oops, you can't see it. Makes a big difference. So within 30 minutes of y'all leaving last night or me signing off, I had the new one, the correct size printed, and I had a rough drawing of her that is correct now. So I'm going to put this back in the trash so I don't make that mistake again. And And this may not be such a good idea to do live, but I'm going for it anyway. Still double checking. Okay, I'm going to work on Josh today. He's really close because I didn't monkey with it yesterday. That's close. And then plus the fact I've been doing crafts for with you guys, which is really more fun. So I'm a little rusty. All right, so my paint is thawed in less than 30 minutes. Actually, it was thawed a long time ago. 5-10 minutes is all it takes. Okay, ready? Ready. I'm going to mix up Hey, Meta. Oh, good. I'm glad you're painting along because this gets a little bit boring. The other thing, Carol, going back to the John Singer Sargent, I don't know that I've heard this said. I read so much and watch whatever I can get my hands on when I'm studying. Every time he scraped off the fold of that dress, and then he'd repaint it. And then he'd scrape it off again, he'd repaint it. 20 times. My theory is that every time he scraped it off and repainted, he left a little bit of what was in that scraping. So he didn't scrape it the same. He scraped ever smaller pieces of that fold. So when he stood back 20 feet, dashed forward with his brush and made a straight stroke, he had evidence of all those other layers in that fold. So it actually became part of his technique. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, I need more white. Excuse you. A little tube fart there. Well, what else do I need? I told you I didn't put out enough yesterday. I'm gonna put out a big old chunk of white. I'm gonna pull you down. So at least for this beginning part, you can kind of see what I'm doing. I just put a big old pile of white right there. And I'm gonna put, not that much. Over here, I'm gonna put a little bit of that and a little bit of that. That's the cad red or the naphthol red. And this is the cad yellow. About even amounts at this point. And so then now I'm going to just push a little white. Again, I don't mix it till it's all and I make what's called a string. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the permanent green. Now there's a string of, whoops, the permanent green. Any questions? Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing with, oh, I didn't get out near enough of white. White, like I said, you use 2 to 1 over the other colors. I'm going to do the same thing with the alizarin crimson. Again, not that much. Right here. I'm going to use a little bit of cad lemon. Now, these are just basic flesh tones. I'm going to use a little bit of green, same way. Just going to pull that down. Every artist has a different method. So here are shadow colors, and here are cooler skin colors. This is a warmer skin color, and then the cooler warm color. I can, if I choose, mix a little bit of the violet. I'm just going to show you a little bit. I don't do this very often. You're not going to be able to see it. And see, you can't see it. It's kind of a mauve, a light mauve color. For me, that can look dirty. It can look like bruised skin because you've got a cool color for a shadow when actually, if by mixing the green, you're neutralizing the skin color, which solves the same purpose, but you'll find a lot of people that use this color on skin. Now, where I would use this color is with a man's beard or where they shave a lot. It's perfect there because it looks like a shadow, the shadow of needing to shave. I went through 50 years of my life thinking that all the talk about they had to put powder on Nixon's beard when he was in the debate. Y'all remember that? I went through 50 years before I realized they weren't putting it over a full-grown beard like men wear today. They were putting it over his 5 o'clock shadow. And I kept wondering, how does putting powder in a beard make that okay? I just couldn't figure it out. So here we go. Hey, Joycey. I don't want to work on him. He is the supporting role because his head is sideways. She, of course, is our bride. And I before some of you came in, I said that my, I'm more concerned with the middle one. That I had printed this yesterday at the bigger size. So during the second half of the video, when I was trying to make the drawing match and I couldn't, it's because the picture that I was using was bigger than the one I really wanted. Yeah, let's see. So you can, I'm teaching here a little bit. You can see where my thirds are that match these. So I'm in really pretty good shape now. I still measure. About right. Got to remember to uncrook my knee occasionally. This eye could be a little over about right in here, but I also need to tell you guys, and I don't know that Kathy Arbor's in or if she's coming today, but I made a big deal yesterday about not doing traditional drawings as a start for an oil painting. There are people who do that. And one of them I've been watching lately is he'll do a fine drawing and he'll treat it as though it's a paint by number. So he'll go in and paint the eyes first and then the nose and then the mouth. And they look really eerie because they're so dark, darker than what you would expect. Good. You'll get a slice of cheesecake and get your blood sugar going. You'll be good for another hour or two. You did a great job today too, Lena. I enjoyed it. No, not that. I want this. I'm gonna mix up a little bit of a Rossiana-ish color. And I think I'm gonna play with, see, I can't help myself. This is a brand new silver Grand Prix Series bright. And a bright means it's a flat, but it's longer than a flat. Now, after my lecture I just gave, about scraping stuff off, I'm going to see if I like painting that way. And it might make it a little bit more entertaining for you guys too. I'm not thinning my paint, which I usually don't. And again, that's just a matter of personal preference. I'm going to double check it. That comes down from there. Okay. Down from there. And down from there. Okay, so this actually comes in a little bit more. Now I mixed this color with my mud, which is the ultramarine, half ultramarine, half alizarin. And I'm going to add just a tiny drop of odorless mineral spirits. Okay, now I'm going to check. Good. Good. I don't know where that one goes. Okay, we'll just do this from there. Okay. And her eyebrow here starts about right there. Her eyebrow here starts eyebrows follow the bone, your brow bone. They're not all up here and down. They're like a lot of people have theirs. I am keeping this fairly light as far as paint goes. Julie, Elaine. You want to know what's wrong with this picture? my brother took it, and he's a professional photographer. He had a flash or a full light on her face. To have a picture for painting, the light would come from over here, and you would pick up just, see, where is her light coming from? And see, it's hard to tell, maybe from up above. But there are no shadow shapes. A typical painting photo would have some distinct cast shadows from the nose, and that makes it easier to paint because you've got more to do form from. Does that make sense? And this side needs to go up just a little bit. Okay. Okay. Who doesn't love a good challenge? Got just a little bit of green. And again, when I get ready to change colors, I squeeze it with my towel. I really need some shop towels. Okie doke. Now, dipping into my darker flesh tone. Ah, look how perfect that is. You can't even see it. I am going to use a bit of this blue just for fun, and if I don't like it, I can cover it up. I'm trying to paint shapes, but because of the photograph, there aren't too many. So there's a shape right here, and all of the darker points are shapes. Get it back up there. Um, I'm also kind of using a diddly brush. Y'all bear with me. I know where that nose is, so I'm just going to paint around it. A little bit of green. Any of y'all know me well enough. I rarely do things the same way twice. Ah, I didn't want that. Okay. Can you paint out or reduce? It won't be that it won't be that noticeable. CB. It won't be that noticeable. um, I don't know what you're talking about, Gail. Let me give y'all another heads up. It's okay to ask questions when something like this is going on, but unlike crafts, it's not okay to give your opinions. Carol, you ask a question, but you cannot give the artist directions, because what you think is wrong may not be what is wrong. You might think there's something wrong with the eyes when in actuality it's something wrong with the nose. So that's something that comes, if you ever take a live workshop with anybody, remember that, because that will get you in a little bit of trouble. And a lot of teachers say, don't ask me questions while I'm painting. I'm not I'm not that picky, but now when we're doing collage and stuff like that, it's okay, because that's the nature of that beast. I've been to workshops with professionals where the teacher actually said, do not open your mouth. I don't want to hear any whispers or anything. And he wasn't really teaching, he was just demoing. Now, some of these areas will end up getting 5 or 6 layers. Let me check on you guys. Hey, Beth. Oh, you said no. Um, checking. The the light, see if I've got an example. Can't see that little guy. Okay, maybe. Still can't see him. Okay, I'm gonna pull him down a little bit. It's not exactly right, but it's close. I do not have a light coming in from my right. I'm trying to hold it. If I had a light coming in from the right, it would knock out this shadow right here and then softer right here. It would be more like this. That's what I'm talking about. Rembrandt lighting is where you have a window as your sole source of light, and it's hitting where you just see a little bit on this cheek of the light. And that's, of course, our noses aren't that big. But all the light falls over here and the shadows fall over here, which creates a ball shape. And if you want to know more than that, you have to take my class. There you go. That's a simple explanation. Now, my brother, being a professional photographer, took this with there aren't very many shadows. There are just a few right on that side of the nose where I would prefer to have. It's just a different style of photography. It's not right or wrong. He shoots for photography. He shoots for portraits that are going to be photographs that are going to be reproduced, and I paint for painting. Does that help? Excuse me. I need a drink of water. I'm going to change to a little bigger brush, this filbert. Now see how I avoid using terps? Yep, camera. No, I don't like that one. That's more for landscape painting. And no, that won't stay there. This is another thing about oil paint. You put it on, you take it off. And like I said, I normally do not paint teeth. Nobody really wants to walk into a room and see a crazy smile every time they come in. You see, I'm off again right there. So let's check this again. Yep. This is not for the faint of heart, I tell you. The babies are home. Miss Minnie had her 1 week checkup today. So you think you want to be an oil painter? Right there. Put this in here for a placeholder for now. Okay, that's about it. Now, how now, brown cow? Right on the line, right on the line. I'll be back on chat in just a second, guys. Okay. Brandy didn't tell me yet, Carol or CB. He knows I'm filming. Hey, Wendy. Um, Depends on how you paint. No, it'll take to fully cure. Once I start putting on thick stuff, it'll take 2 or 3 days before you can work on it again. So you always end up with several paintings going at the same time. But the good thing about oil painting is you can pick it up anytime. You could go back in on an old master painting. All right, that's enough right there. Just want to make sure that I've got that coming down right over her iris. Perfect. Well, I mean, for now, it'll move. Well, that's too red. Hello. The other thing is that her face is turned enough so that her chin is not the same on both sides. All right, check on you. Bye, Gail. Wendy, there's nothing in oil that is bad for your health at all. The only thing in the paint itself is pigment and linseed, safflower, walnut oil. And you cook with those, some of those. So the odorless mineral spirits are the closest thing to being toxic. And I use so little of it because this is what I use instead of sloshing my brush around in the spirits. And then if you have reactions or something like that, then there's always water mixable. I've never used them, but people swear by them, so. And there's a style of oil painting that I really like, and that's alla prima. That's where you paint the whole thing in one sitting. I'm spending too much time on this stage, but that's okay. I don't care. I still don't like her mouth, but that's okay. As long as I'm in the ballpark at this point, I'm okay. Yeah, it's not wide enough on that side. I knew there was something wrong. Should be there. There. Closed mouths are so much easier. And again, I would not ever paint by choice a teeth painting. think I've told this group before, try not to match color to an inkjet print because they are not calibrated to be correct, and you're better off doing it from your screen. All I'm worrying about right now is the placement. It's easier to make edits now than it is later. See, Mark's got a highlight over here that really wouldn't be there with different lighting. Lots of smile lines. Ooh, yucko, yucko, yucko. And problem is never where you think it is. I'm gonna mix up a little bit of black, a little bit of alizarin, a little bit of ultramarine. That's too much ultramarine. And I need a viridian, but I don't have one out. Y'all are brave to stick through this. There are people who believe that this will poison you. So the old masters lived to be ripe old ages, and they were using lead paint and cadmiums that were deadly. And so, it's now if you left minerals, boy, that just looks awful, 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 baby doll. And it's not in the drawing at this point. It's in the coloration. Anyway, no, there's nothing in these any more than your other pigments. If I had to pick a sort of dangerous art material, and I say this very cautiously, it would be pastel, soft pastel. And the only reason for that is that people use it without knowing what they're doing. And they blow on it and they shake it off. I think it's time for a new Q-tip. They shake it off on their table, and all that does is get the particulates floating in the air. Okay, so, and there are people who make blowers, suction devices, and stuff like that. If you had COPD or what's some of those other things? Quit, get off the mouth. You know that. Um, cystic fibrosis. Then you have a little more to worry about. But ordinary people, nothing. Even in caustic, it's not toxic. Beeswax is natural. Damar resin is natural. Now, again, if you don't treat it right, and that is to say, anything that goes to a boiling point can be toxic, from your cooking oils to olive oils to um, they could all be toxic. And so if you heat uh, caustic past 250, you're going to get some smoke in the air. So, like I said, there are people who swear that it can go through your skin, and it can't. The particles of paint are larger than the pores in your skin. So there's lots of fallacies out there. Oil and pigment. That's all that's there. And like I said, a lot of those can be used for cooking. Another one bites the dust. But that said, your mineral spirits are labeled as toxic. And like any oil product, they can be flammable. If you put them outside and let them like put a bunch of oily rags outside in a can that's sealed up, they can combust. So you just have to be aware of what you're dealing with. And that's really people who paint your house. You just did that. You just cleaned that up. Create more of a hazard than. Okay, now we're going into that shoulder. Just go ahead and do that so you can judge the face a little bit. Talking to myself, I do that a lot. I think I need some new Q-tips. These have obviously been rolling around here for a long time. Okay, questions. Yeah, those are more what we would call allergies, Wendy. But there are ways to minimize. If you were to start painting with it and you start having breathing problems with any art material, then set a fan up so that it can do exhaust outside, um, exhaust in an open window. But don't ever hesitate to contact me because I know where a lot of information can be found that can help you make your own decision. But if you really want to learn how to use something, there are solutions. But you do want to do your research and don't take it from what somebody says online because they may be spouting something that isn't true. Bye, CB. I think I missed her. I made encaustic. Of course, I mean, y'all don't want to do as I do. As long as I don't have any problems. I mean, look at the people who spray alcohol. That's one of the worst things you can do. But get some alcohol paint and start putting some spray on it. There you go. See, it's kind of beginning to look like her already. And do. I wish my lines weren't gone. About right there. Anyway, you just gotta know what you're dealing with. A little bit of sunburn. Except her arm is supposed to be to right there. This is why oil brushes don't last very long. Apnea. Okay. Sleep apnea. Yeah, those are really more toxic than art supplies. Hey, kitty. Thank you. Yeah, YouTube rates us on that sort of stuff. And even though the ratings don't really matter, toot, toot, um, they do for getting other people in your channel. Let's off. Okay, let's go right under that eye. Oh, that's right. And something's off right here. Right there it is. Is Elaine still here? I need to tell her that we love Bosch. One little stroke. One little stroke is all it takes to throw your drawing off. check on y'all. Kitty means swallow or willow in Netherlands. I'm joking. I am joking. All right. Let's see what we got here. Just a little bit. I love to go ahead and put the highlights in the eyes because it tends to bring the entire painting up. I like to put a little dot for that little thing in your eye. And her eye is not that wide. Yeah. Are y'all enjoying watching me diddle with this? Like I said, it's easier to catch a drawing issue a couple minutes after you put it on. Now y'all understand why I say I like doing those little freeform faces in mixed media. I keep taking breaks. Just kind of jump around. And this is lower. We'll get it in a minute. It's on that angle. Yep. I'm relaxing into this with you guys. This is the way I paint. Oops, stick your finger in it. Again, stick your finger in it. Okay, there to there, there to there, from there to there. When all else fails, just use your finger. All right, diddlin' diddlin'. Come on now. cooler color right there. Not dark enough, Miss Vicki. You knew that before you put it on. Blend and take away. Blend and take away. And toward the end, I will leave texture bumps. This is where the camera just before something turns over into the shadow, you'll see a tiny little bright red mark. And that's not the right color. You knew that when you put it on. Quit it, quit it, quit it, quit it. So my favorite way of painting is to see how smooth and I can get the paint. I may do 10 different layers of paint on top of dried paint. I'm going to have to finesse that a bit. Hey, Lynn, I'm having a better day today. CCB, this is kind of how you can fudge that double chin. But it is pretty much because she's holding her head that way. Put it on, take it off. I paint features exactly as represented on a commission. Because they expect to look like themselves. And in this case, her, because of the lighting, the way she's holding her head makes it look like she's got a way bigger double chin. And so that's something that I'm kind of sneaking up on to minimize. Yeah, and if it's something I'm doing for mixed media, I'll change it however I want to, or even quit looking at the picture completely. And there, I don't care. if her eyes are too big or her nose is too long, because it's my painting and I may want to be in the mood to do some illustration type art, which is kind of what Lena did this morning. Okay. It's funny, as I paint, I hear the people who taught me. And some of them were not in a not so kind voice. They were joking. Um, Bye, Joycey. Glad you came. Yeah, it just takes work. And don't panic. This is one of the reddest places on a face because it's got more blood flow. Okay, quit donking. Oh, come on. Okay, I'm going to work on that eye a little bit. Put my little dot of red. I always try to make my eyes look real from the early. It helps. It helps with what you're doing. Not much. Yeah. And you don't want your edges hard. Ooh, take a break. I don't know how many people are here, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. because I did warn everybody it was going to be a work session. I'll get this blocked in. I was painting around the piece of tape on the just wanted to block that in. Except it's down a little bit more. Smooth move, X-Lax. Mhm. Do-do-do-do. Well, thank you, Lisa. I think the shower. Uh, I don't know. I don't even know. The wedding's in November, so it may be. Of course, you know me, Linda. If it's late, I'll just say, "Ah, it's late." Since I'm not doing this in my photorealistic style, like the babies you've seen, it won't take too long. Yucca, 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 yucca. Put some green in there. Tone that down. Can't seem to get that. Okay, that'll do for now. And now I've got her neck pinker than her chin. Dracula. Yeah, not done, but accurate done. I just want to get a little bit of this. A little bit of that going on because I don't want to I'll mix up her hair will be one of the last. But I'm going to go ahead and soften these edges. So she's pretty much, this would be a good first stage. And I can go ahead and remove spots where I'll come back with a little bit of detail later. I keep trying to paint the tape in. Oh, lordy, lordy. All right. Put that aside. Well, damn it. Wonder why the printer is doing that. Now, all I'm lining up right now are my printer's printing half of it. So we're about like that. Close enough for who it's for. And I could get another printout, but I'm too lazy. I have seen so many tricks. You wouldn't believe what people who charge $14,000 do for a portrait. And you'd never see them demonstrated either. Okay. Y'all are still seeing pretty good. See how good that matches? Back to measuring. see what y'all are doing. Bye, Wendy. Night night. Yeah, well, it's just, yeah, I used to take good care of stuff like that. Everything had to work. Now I don't so much. And I've never used an inkjet before. I was a purist. Nothing but laser for me. But then they've changed. And we've got a tank inkjet. So you don't have to constantly be buying cartridges. And the prints are halfway decent. Well, if you ever get another one, Linda, get either the HP that you can get on the subscription plan, and it costs you like $5 a month, and they send you fresh ink more often than you need it. Or mine is a Canon tank where you don't have to buy cartridges. And I will have to get better cartridges, better images to work from tomorrow. And if you wonder why I'm giving him green hair, it's because he's a ginger. Just want to get it blocked in right now. Well, I was having trouble settling in yesterday. Of course, I mean, it's no surprise. I've been having way too much fun in mixed media. Yeah, the ink dries out too. Oh, tabloid inkjet? You bitch. Yeah, that probably will. Not only that, but cartridges, the ink in the cartridges will evaporate. Oh God, I got mine yesterday. Oh shit, that book's gonna require an acre of painting space. I mean, desk space. So I do as much as I can, and then check to see how far off I. Getting there. And down from the line. Okay, that's not right there. Now I've got all my little fingernail ticky marks. Sorry about that. About the same time every day. This thing has a 3-hour demo on it. There we go. No, I don't want that. What in the world are y'all seeing? Oh, that's the dry. I mean you know what I mean. Yeah, she's the hardest because of the full face. So that's why I did her first. Plus the fact I'm getting in the groove a little bit more. Well, I just politely painted over my do, do. That will be workable for tomorrow. Oh, those little pricky marks from my fingernail. Okay, I think that got most of them. Oh, Isabel, are they working on the book tonight? I don't think I feel like it. Alrighty. No point in feeling guilty, girls. I'm getting way too diddly until I check all the drawing. I think I'm about tired. I think I've been at it 3 hours now. We can fine tune it tomorrow. Yeah, 4 hours is about all I can work. I can work longer here than I can journaling. Hour and a half, 2 hours is about all I can do there. Yeah, he's looking pretty close until I can get the drawing correct. I haven't heard yet. Leave it. You're tired. I've cleaned more. I've had more turp on my brushes today than I usually do. But that's because I'm dealing with these lighter colors. And a lot of times when I end for the night, I just wipe them off really, really, really good and dissolve it, and they'll be fine tomorrow. All right. Lid on. I'm going to leave the paint. It may be good enough tomorrow to add to. I'm going to put the palette paint back in the bucket in the freezer. Well, where did I? There it is. It's under my chair. My chairs are too big for this space, but they're swivels. So all I have to do is swivel it to where I get out of it and just get up. All right, here we go. Back in the bucket. There. There's my palette. Screw the lid on and put it back in the beer fridge. So, yeah, I'll head over there. Good Lord, I'm going to have to finish some of this stuff, I think, before I can go from my stream to a working stream. But build up my stamina. Oh, my computer was just about in the floor. That's not good. Okay, maybe the iMac. And broadcast.